On the 23rd of February, 1905, Paul P. Harris and three friends came together in a Chicago office, and Rotary Fellowship was born. Little did they know on that historic night that Rotary would grow to an association of tens of thousands of clubs in over 85% of the world's countries. Nor could they envision that Rotary would quickly become a global force for good, bringing hope for a brighter future to millions of people around the world. Rotary's commitment to service began in 1907 with the construction of Chicago's first public comfort stations. With this inaugural project, the Rotary Club of Chicago became the world's first service club organization. Thanks to the vision and untiring efforts of founder Paul Harris, the Rotary ideal of service soon swept the world. By 1921, Rotary clubs had been formed on every continent, with the number reaching 1,000 by year's end. An endowment fund for doing good in the world was created in 1917. This fund was the forerunner of the Rotary Foundation, which today is one of the world's largest charitable foundations. Its visionary educational and humanitarian programs provide the best means of achieving the world betterment and peace that are the ideals of every Rotarian. Even in these earliest decades, Rotary was so respected that it drew presidents, prime ministers, and other luminaries to its ranks. People like composer Jan Sibelius, humanitarian Albert Schweitzer, author Thomas Mann, and diplomat Carlos P. Romulo. As Rotary grew, it also expanded its mission. The association's commitment to high ethical standards was first articulated in 1932 by Rotarian Herbert J. Taylor. This code of ethics was later adopted by Rotary as the four-way test. In the early 1940s, Rotary vaulted onto the world stage when British Rotarians hosted a Rotary conference to promote international cultural and educational exchanges. The intellectual seeds planted at this conference inspired the establishment of the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. Rotary also played a significant role in the birth of the United Nations itself, with 50 Rotarians specifically invited to serve as delegates, advisors, and consultants at the UN Charter Conference in 1945. After Paul Harris's death in 1947, the outpouring of Rotarian donations in his name made the Rotary Foundation a reality. The first foundation program, now known as Ambassadorial Scholarships, is today the world's largest privately funded international scholarship program. With pioneering programs like Health, Hunger, and Humanity grants, group study exchange, and matching grants, the Rotary Foundation expanded its efforts for humanitarian service and international understanding throughout the 1960s and 70s. At the same time, RI was strengthening its commitment to youth with the inauguration of Interact, Rotaract, and RILA, as well as designating Youth Exchange as an official Rotary program. In the 1980s, Rotary continued to develop and expand its programs. The Rotary Community Corps, first known as the Rotary Village Corps, was created to spur economic development and self-sufficiency in both rural and urban communities. And the World Community Service Program, begun in the 1960s, grew considerably as Rotarians became increasingly involved in international service. (1985) witnessed the start of one of the most preeminent international service efforts in Rotary's history. The Polio Plus program was inaugurated to fulfill Rotary's historic commitment to immunize all the world's children against polio. Rotary is the largest private sector partner in the global campaign to rid the world of this crippling disease. With over $500 million committed by Rotary International and countless Rotarian volunteers mobilized in the fight, the incidence of polio has declined dramatically. More than 99% of the world is now polio-free. The eventual declaration of a world completely free of polio will be Rotary's proud and lasting legacy to the children of the world. Polio Plus wasn't the only milestone in the 1980s. Late in that decade, Rotary was open to female membership, and the first clubs in Eastern Europe rejoined Rotary after an absence of almost 50 years. In the 1990s, Rotary addressed important global issues. Environmental protection was the focus of the Preserve Planet Earth service opportunity, while literacy, aging, drug abuse prevention, disaster relief, and family issues were afforded special emphases during those years. Another dream, long nurtured by Rotarians, is finally being realized with the creation of the Rotary Centers for International Studies in Peace and Conflict Resolution. Begun in the 2002-2003 academic year, 8 universities around the world partnered with the Rotary Foundation to establish master's degree level programs in fields related to conflict resolution. These include peace studies, diplomacy, mediation, and international relations, as well as post-conflict economic development. Through this program, the Rotary Foundation annually sponsors up to 140 scholars, continually providing new generations of negotiators and mediators who are dedicated to world peace. Today, billions of children are growing up without the threat of crippling disease and hunger, and thousands of communities worldwide enjoy clean water, sanitation, health care, and education, all thanks to Rotary's history of compassion and commitment. In many parts of the world, impoverished families now live in well-built, safe dwellings provided by Rotary clubs. Destitute men and women use Rotary-sponsored microcredit to become self-sustaining entrepreneurs. And children worldwide feel a newfound sense of hope because they see that Rotarians care about their plight. Working together, Rotarians will continue to assure that what has been accomplished in its first century of service is not only Rotary's history, but its legacy to the future.